I say you sing Unforgiven.
That was absolutely awesome. Brother Kabir often plays, Brother Etheridge plays in town, and Sister Tamara, she said that she aspires to reach people who are forgotten, to give them the voice that they never heard when she was growing up. And she's got some voice, right? That's amazing. Okay, update for those of you who care. But one. Get that out of the way. But one. Okay. So we can move on. We can stop thinking about who won the game. We can enjoy the performance. Are you guys having a good time? Are you enjoying yourselves? Let me know. All right. We're going to get to our future artists right now. Our future artists right now. We're going to get straight to them. So as they come to the stage. As they come to the stage. I know they said, who, us? Okay, I want to take this opportunity, because they had to prepare before they get up here, to thank some of our sponsors. Mrs. Eunice Bowens. Let's give it up for Eunice Bowens, the founder. Let's give it up better than that for the founder of the Knigh Fest I. She has this desire to make sure that her brother's name went on, and that the people of Indianapolis really knew what a jewel we had, because everybody else knows but us. Okay? And so let's really praise God for her. Our sponsors, including Community Action of Greater Indianapolis, the Lilly Endowment, Indianapolis Power and Light Company, and AES Company, the Indiana Historical Society, the Indiana Department of Correction, the Writers Center of Indiana, Forest Manor Multi-Service Center, the Rufus and Louis Ryberg Creative Arts, the Creative Reading Series, IUPUI English Department, Indianapolis Public Schools, the Office of Multicultural Education, Crispus Attucks Museum, the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at IUPUI, DEVE Multimedia, co-sponsored by the Writers Centers of Indiana, Be a Better Writer Craft Lecture Series, with funding from the Allen Whitehill Cruz Charitable Fund. We also want to thank our volunteers, Ms. Clanice Knight Bennett, Letty Purnell, Evelyn Williams, True Love Henderson, and Felicia Williams. Another round of applause, please. I think they're ready? Okay, great. Well, tell me, what do 3 professors from Rutgers, Cornell, and New Haven, and an NAACP Image Award winner have in common? Well, Cave Canem, the place where they met as they honed their craft, and Etheridge Knight, the genius behind the poetry that spoke to their spirits. These men have joined their powerful voices individually to become an even more powerful collective called the Symphony. Having performed tonight's selection all across the country, it was only fitting to bring them here, home, at the 20th annual Etheridge Knight Festival of the Arts. Our featured artists performing The House That Etheridge Built. Please put your hands together for R. Dwayne Betts, Randall Horton, Marcus Jackson, and John Morello, the Symphony.
So, I'm Dwayne, and the way I first came in contact with work at Etheridge Knight, I was in a penitentiary. When I was 16, I carjacked somebody, and I pled guilty and ended up doing 9 years in prison. And after that, I thought I would stop getting in trouble, and for the most part, I did, kind of. And so by the time I turned 17, I was in solitary confinement. And I was in solitary confinement, and you can't request books, but you can ask for people that's locked up in a hole with you to send you books. And somebody threw a book under my cell, and the book was The Black Poets by Dudley Randall. And at the time, you know, I already wanted to be a writer, but I was trying to be an essayist. I wanted to be James Baldwin. But when I got The Black Poets, I read Etheridge Knight for the first time, and I realized that one, you could write poetry that speaks to people and speaks to the lives they know. But two, you could do it, and having been to prison, you could do it, and then do it when you get out of prison to make a life doing it. So that's when I decided to be a poet. And so I'm going to start off reading a poem by Etheridge Knight, and it's called Various Protestations from Various People. Esther say, I drink too much. Mama say, pray, don't think too much. My shrink, he say, I feel too much. And the cops say, I steal too much. Social workers say, I miss my daddy too much. That I dream of driving a caddy too much. White folks say, I'm lazy and late too much. Not objective, depend on fate too much. Philosophers say, I want to be me too much. Reagan say, I talk about me too much. Singing songs about being free too much. I say, sing about me being free too much. Say, sing about me being free too much.
Good evening. I'm Randall. And the way I came into Etheridge Knight, like Dwayne, I served a prison sentence. Went to prison sort of like in my early 30s. Did 5 years. So when I came out, I began to write poetry. And I hadn't really read a whole lot of poets. I didn't even really know what a poem was. I had most of my life. But I started writing poetry when I was in this workshop. And then the teacher brought in a big stack of books. And this is the book he gave me. So all of the class had to read these poems. Like he turned to a page in a poem and they give it to you to read. And up until that point, I hadn't seen anything or read anything that sort of like mirrored the things that I had gone through, you know, prior to incarceration and incarceration. I wanted to write about some of that stuff. And there just wasn't any models for me. So he gave me this book, The Essential Etheridge, Return to Feeling Fucked Up. And I read that poem. And, you know, basically that sort of changed my life in terms of how I had permission and license to talk about the things that haunted me.